Dreamhack Montreal Pro Circuit, the last of the 4 pro circuits. It's not really a circuit. There's no circuit points. We talked about that earlier in previous videos. But still, a lot of money online, 100K, I believe, 100K. And this is the last major before we go into RLCS Season 8. And all these teams are roster locked at this point. So we're going to see where teams stand at this point. We saw that a little bit at Beyond the Summit. I do think Beyond the Summit, though, again, is a little bit more laid back, a little bit more casual. So it's a little bit different. But this will be a good bar to see where people are. But it should be a lot of fun. And let's get into our predictions. Again, this is double elimination groups every day. So day 1, we have 32 teams. We go down to 16. Doesn't matter if you make it through the lower bracket. You start over again on day number 2. And the same thing, 16 teams down to 8. Then single elimination. We got best of 5 quarters, best of 7 semis, best of 7 final. And that's how this works. So incredibly long days. For the broadcast, it'll probably be like, 8 to 10 hours, I think, every day. So we're showing a lot of games. I think we're showing 10 matches on day 1 and day 2. They haven't announced a secondary stream yet, but we've had it the last 2, so I assume we'll have another one, but I don't know for sure. So hopefully you'll get to see even more games, but there's plenty of games. But let's get this started. First, let's talk about these groups, and let's see if there's any any groups of death. Like, I would personally say whatever group TSM is probably going to be the group of death, as we see here, because TSM is seeded 10th, and I do think that they are going to be a very solid team. But this group, at the end of the day, is not terrible. You got Paradox in there, the old Splice roster. You got Randoms, which is Tigre and the boys. Can't remember exactly who's on this team. I always forget. Extra and Asalon, which is a very solid European team. Or 3 very solid players, and then we'll see how they go. The Bricks, and then 1NE Esports. Like, maybe this one isn't the group of death. I don't know. Like, out of these teams, I feel like there are 4 teams that should come out of this. The Chiefs and Paradox is probably that close matchup, which we'll see. Chiefs playing with Hawk instead of Drip A, if they do pick up Drip A. They've been playing with them a little bit, so you would assume that's happening. But they're playing with Hawk for this. Let's move on to the other groups. I just want to see the new team, Reciprocity. Old team Frontline, old team PSG. They got Afterthought, Lotus, Complexity, Rogue. They got Bullsen in there too. And the dudes. Like, it gets a little bit closer here. That group's pretty strong, but again, I still think there's probably 4 teams in here that would make it through, depending on who wins between Afterthought and Lotus. But there could be some upsets there. Then we got Group C. You got Ground Zero, Space Station, Peeps, Staking Task. That's a pretty strong group. And then Group D. You got Plot Twist, who hasn't been looking amazing lately, or at least they didn't look great at the Canadian Championship, WGN, RBG. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit like there should be 4 teams coming out, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I don't really have the strongest group, because I think it might be this one, but it's also like the teams are weaker that are going to qualify out near the bottom of that. So I don't know. But maybe we would go with Group B. Might be the strongest. I don't know. Or Group C. Group D, I don't know. It's hard. Anyway, let's get into predictions. Some games I'm not really going to talk about. I'm just going to kind of put them in. I do think TSM will beat the Randoms, or at least they should. Like, I am very high on TSM, and I think TSM is going to do really well with Alpha. So I think when Remco has 2 talented players around him that can do their own solo plays, or do, a 1-2 passing play between those 2, Remco plays really well when he's a support player. When they won the World Championship, he kind of let Turbo and Devo just do their thing, right? And I think that's going to be the same thing on this team. I do think it was probably the better drop of Ignite rather than Remco when you're picking up Alpha. Because Ignite, I felt like he moved up the field a lot to play offense, but TSM never got the ball up to him. That might be his fault a little bit. That might be their fault. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think it was a good idea to, like, throw someone forward and just try and make a play by passing it up to him. Like, I think they have to start from the ground up. And also TSM, that's kind of how they are anyway. They play defense first, move the ball up afterwards. I just feel like Ignite might have got a little bit lost and was relatively quiet on that team when they weren't performing well. So we'll see how Alpha brings that in. Obviously, the European MVP, I would put him in the top 5 players in Europe. So it should be on paper. It looks good, and I'm excited to see what they bring. Bricks versus 1NE. I'm hoping they at least get a game. I assume this is the game we will probably see on stream, but I don't know for sure. But I think everyone's gonna be cheering for 1NE, but I do think the Bricks will pull that out. They've been looking pretty solid. Chiefs and Paradox. So the Chiefs, to me, this one's going to be interesting because the Chiefs, I don't know how much practice they're getting with Hawk, and obviously it's going to be Hawk's first major LAN, and there could be a lot of nerves. Like, this has upset potential here with Karma, J-Wiz, and Mystic. I'm actually going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go with the upset just because I don't know how Hawk's going to show. I also don't know if they've been practicing a ton. And also OC, like, honestly, hasn't looked that great this year. So I think there's going to be an upset here, and I think Paradox will take it. It's a very minor upset, but I am worried about Hawk's, like, first time on a stage and all that stuff. I don't know if he played in any lands in OCE, but still, it's a completely different beast. I'm going to go Paradox there. And I think Energy probably moves through this relatively quickly. Maybe a 3-0, maybe a 3-1, something like that. Team Solo Mid versus the Bricks. Like, this is that first, like, RLCS test. I do think TSM is going to prevail. And it's going to show that TSM is probably a top 4 team heading into the European RLCS. It doesn't mean they will necessarily finish that way, but I do think TSM is looking pretty strong. As we saw with the tiers I did yesterday, I put TSM in the highest tier. I put them in tier A. Because we didn't have anyone in S because there's too many teams that are, like, kind of good, but, like, no one's dominant. But I do think TSM, like, I'm very high on TSM right now. Chiefs versus Nameless, another pretty tough matchup. There is really no easy games here at Dreamhack. Nameless, again, 3 European names that most people know, but I'll give it to the Chiefs. I'll give them a win here. But I do think the Bricks will move on and beat the Chiefs. We'll go 3-1. Why not? Paradox. I'm sorry, not Nameless. Like, I thought it was Nameless. The Chiefs should beat. I was thinking of Random, so my apologies. So Chiefs should beat Nameless, but who knows? 3 local boys and Randoms versus 1NE. Sorry, Randoms, but I want to see 1NE at least get a win here. So we're gonna move them forward there. I do think Paradox. I think they're gonna make it through. They got Mystic, J-Wiz, and Karma. So the old Splice roster with Mystic playing in here. It's a little bit concerning that they're not using Shadow, which is their rival series team. But obviously Mystic's a solid player. They'll probably just be having a lot of fun, which, you know, normally does help. Very similar to the Bricks, but we'll see. The important game, obviously, is Paradox versus Chiefs, because that'll determine who you play later, right? Where do you play the Bricks or do you play a team like the Randoms or 1NE? So this is a very important game, Chiefs Paradox, which normally it is. I'm actually going to zoom this in a little bit for you guys if I can. Let me see. For some reason, it won't let me do it here. Let's go to 200%. There we go. So you can see it a little bit better. We'll have to go down a little bit. 150 works. Okay. So that's Group A perfectly. Fits perfectly on the screen, except for my face is in the way. But there you go. Group A, we'll slide it down. You can see it all. All right, moving on. Group B. Reciprocity. The Rec Pack. They've been looking really strong. I do think that they've looked really strong in the 2 majors that I would say have the least importance throughout 2019 so far. That's not saying that's a bad thing. They're obviously back-to-back finalists. They won Dreamhack, Valencia, but I still think they're very, very strong, and we'll give them a 3-0. Afterthought, Lotus. All right. So I get it. South America's here. Very excited to see the boys, but I'm not sold on South America. Like, a lot of people came out of the World Championship like, oh my God, they looked amazing. And I think there's a lot of hype of like, it's the brand new region, and they look great for a first time. I still don't think they're ready yet for the big stage. They only went 2-12 at the World Championship, and obviously a team like Afterthought, which is Shock, Sathier, and First Killer, who qualified through the qualifiers. They are not a World Championship team, but I do think they will. Afterthought will take down Lotus. I'm not as high on South America as a lot of other people, and I think a lot of that is just because they want to see him do well, which is perfectly reasonable. But I'm just not that high on South America yet. Lotus coming in, Renan, Habercamper, and Firefox. So we'll see. We'll see how they do. But I got Afterthought in that game. A very important game again, because later on it determines who you play in the lower bracket. Complexity Bullsend. Bullsend just won WGN, so they're coming in pretty excited. But Complexity's been incredibly solid at Dreamhack. We'll see how their chemistry is after the whole Flakes situation where he wanted to leave or he wanted to kick Greasy, but neither happened. They tried to kick Flakes for a second, a hot minute, and then Flakes came back. I don't think it'll matter too much, but we'll go Complexity there. But we'll give Bullsend the game. Rogue versus the Dudes. Like, if this was, like, I feel like, all right, so I just did a fantasy football draft last night, and we were talking about this, man. It's like, man, our team looks really good. Only if it was, like, 2014, right? Like, that's what it feels like sometimes playing fantasy football. You're like, oh, I got the greatest names. Oh, wait. It's 2019 at this point. It's not 2014. It's not 2013 at this point. That's how I feel like with the Dudes. We saw some magic, like, 2 years ago from them. We haven't really seen it since. Got to go Rogue here. Rogue has looked kind of questionable at times throughout this offseason. Classic Rogue, but I'm going to go Rogue in that game. Reciprocity versus Afterthought. Reciprocity should win. The sock has not been washed yet, and he's just going to continue to do his thing. Complexity Rogue. I got Complexity here. We're going to go 3-2. Why not? Rogue, again, I think has been a little bit more questionable as of late. Complexity was on the rise until that whole roster shakeup happened. Or not roster shakeup, but almost roster shakeup. But I do think Complexity will be fine. Cultivate versus Lotus. We'll just go Lotus here. Lotus versus Rogue. Nah, I can't do it. We'll give it to Rogue. Rogue will move on to day number 2. Bullsend the Dudes. I'm going to give this to Bullsend. And then Afterthought versus Bullsend. I'm going to go Afterthought here. I like Afterthought. We'll see how they do. I want to see Sathiu get a little bit redemption for the last Dreamhack, and then he got kicked right after it. So I want to see a little bit more there. But here we go. Here's your Group B. Sorry, the chat window is going to block it a little bit, but you can see through it. Reciprocity, Complexity, Rogue, and Afterthought. No real upsets yet, but who knows? Maybe we'll get some soon. Vitality wins that. Peeps win this. Dignitas win this. Actually, I want to see who's on Linked Up. Oh, Linked Up is the new squad coming in, taking the place of the Renegades. So the Renegades, they, I guess, tried to book travel way too late, and they were going to get in like 10 p.m. the night before, so they decided it's not worth our time because, again, that's from OCE, where you're going to be traveling for 18 to 24 hours or something like that. So they felt like it wasn't worth their time, so they decided not to come. So Linked Up, Joe Freshness, Sosa, and Dude with the Nose. Just pick up squad here a little bit. I think Joe Freshness and Sosa are on the same team. I can't remember exactly what team name they are. Let me look. Sorry, I haven't been keeping up with my Rival Series stuff too much as of late. I'm trying to see. Oh, yeah. It's Sosa, Joe Freshness, and Alpha Kep going for a Rival Series thing. But they're playing with Dude with the Nose because, you know, he's pretty local to Montreal. So kind of a pickup squad there just to play in this, which is pretty cool of them to come on out on the last second. And it seems like they're very excited on Twitter. So I hope to see them play. We'll give them a 3-1 here. Give them a little bit better of a chance. Space Station Ground Zero Gaming. So the problem with Ground Zero, they actually made some noise at the last Dreamhack. They beat TSM. But then they lost Sicky. They lost probably their best player. to the Renegades, and they got Zen, who was probably the worst player from Renegades. So their team has gotten considerably worse on paper. We'll see how they do when they get here, but I got to give this one to Space Station. Space Station, I feel like, has been kind of quiet this offseason. Like, I feel like a lot of people have been, and I'm excited to see what they bring, because I do think the Sathu kick, I think it was the right decision, and they bring in Arsenal. Like, I think like Sathu was probably the worst mechanical player on the team. Now, the problem is he was their in-game leader and their in-game comms, so it could be a little bit rough going for Space Station, but we'll see. Like, I do think it's the right move long-term. Let's just hope they've been playing enough throughout this offseason to try and figure out those roles, those leadership roles, or the comms, and they'll be doing well. All right, Monkey Business, easy 3-0 here. Ghost Gaming versus RBG. This one could be close, but I'm going to go Ghost. I haven't really done any upsets yet. You know what? Corrupted G, previously on the Randy Gibbons River Rats. I can't even say my own team name. We're going to go with an upset here. Plot twist over Barcelona. Like, I think as a first showing for Barcelona, it might be a little bit weak. I do think they'll be ready for their RLCS season, but they are definitely in a weaker spot right now. They're obviously not weaker than Plot Twist. I'm just going to go with the upset here, and I'm going to go Plot Twist. Then G2 Esports and Dark Allegiance. There you go, G2. All right, let's change this now. That's not what that means. We got Cloud9 going through over Monkey Business. We'll make it close in a Game 5. Cloud9, hey. One thing I saw on YouTube that I thought was absolutely insane from the comments was one commenter that I commented to, which I don't comment a lot on YouTube. I should probably do it more. He was like, oh, why are like Energy and Vitality not in Tier S? And why are they in Tier A? I'm like, because are they that much better than Cloud9 and Frontline or now Reciprocity? And he's like, Cloud9's inconsistent. I'm like, excuse me? Excuse me? 2 tournaments. They did not finish top 4. They still made top 8. You can't even say that for Vitality or NRG at these Dreamhacks. So I don't know what in the world he was smoking. But Cloud9 is the most consistent LAN team we have ever seen in Rocket League. Like, the only other one that you could say is Dignitas, the old Dignitas. But then they kind of sputtered out at the same time. Like, when they were a unit, sure, you'd probably give it to Dignitas because they had a lot of second-place finishes as well. But Cloud9's been doing it for, 2.5 years now? Something like that. Or 2 years exactly now, I think. So Cloud9 is the most consistent LAN team, and guess what? They're going to make it through once again. Plot twist over G2. Nope, got to go G2 here. I really like G2 in what they've been doing lately. Like Beyond the Summit, they started off extremely dominant, then they kind of fell apart. They just got to figure out that middle ground, and I think G2 will be a very strong contender for a world championship this season. G2 is probably the only team I think that if we're going to go 8 for 8 with 8 different champions, it would be G2 is probably my only shot, I feel like, that has a chance here, but we'll see. Easy 3-0 here for Monkey over RBG, obviously. Plot twist over Monkey. We're going to go Plot twist because they got the upset earlier. They earned that bid, and I think Plot twist will make it through. Barcelona, Dark Allegiance. We'll go Barcelona. I do think Barcelona is going to take down Ghost, though, as well. Like, Ghost will get a tough side of the bracket. Barcelona will sneak through, and Ghost will be the team eliminated on day 1. That's a little bit of an upset. That's the only upset I have. I should probably have more because Dreamhack usually has a couple. I also forgot to finish this side of the bracket. I don't know what I'm doing. So let's go back. Vitality, I think, will beat Space Station. I do think Dig will beat the Peeps. I'm going to go a close series, though, in 5. Peeps lately have been, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I was hoping for more out of them. But we haven't seen it yet. Ground Zero beat Controller. I do think Peeps are going to make it through over Ground Zero. And then we're going to go Linked Up over 303. And we'll go... Yeah, we'll go Space Station. Space Station and Peeps are those 2 teams that I think could make some noise this season, but I just want to see it. Like, I want to see it at Dreamhack. But there we go. So we got Vitality, Dig, Peeps, and Space Station through. Yeah, Ghost is now Memory, Illusion, and Atomic. They kicked left for Atomic. All right, day number 2. Let's move on over. I love that someone made this spreadsheet because I had a spreadsheet kind of made last time and it was kind of a mess, as you guys all saw. So I'm glad someone actually made a better one. But here we go. Day number 2, same thing again. You got groups of 8. We're getting down to 4. So energy, afterthought. Give this to energy. I'm going to make it a close one because why not? Complexity, bricks. Another battle of those European teams. I think right now I would put the bricks at like 5th or 6th. I think complexity is a better team slightly. But the speed and the lock combo has been looking really strong. I feel like they've slowed down a little bit, but not a ton, obviously. Like I think right now we got Vitality, we got Reciprocity, Complexity, and TSM would be my 4, with Dignitas and the Bricks extremely close. Like I think Complexity, Dignitas, and Bricks extremely close for that 4th spot. So I think that this match could be a good test to see where those teams are at going into the RLCS season. Cloud9 Space Station. Cloud9 beats up on NA teams. Dignitas, Plot Twist. We'll go Dig here as well. Yay. We get the Cloud9 Dignitas matchup that we all love. Yay. Sack J. Sieben. Yay. What a name. What a name. Welcome. Welcome to the Potato Army. Let's get some Spud hypes in chat. I'll throw one out there. Hold on. I'm going to find it. There we go. Bam. Bam. All right. But at this point now, like all these teams are incredibly solid going into day 2. Every match is going to be incredibly close. I'm going to go Complexity here. I'm going to go for a little bit of an upset. I'm going to go Complexity going through at the start of their groups. And I'm going to go Cloud9 here going through. Then we got Afterthought and the Bricks. We'll go Bricks here. And Space Station and Plot Twist. It looks like Bricks are playing all the European teams in my bracket this time. We'll go Space Station here as well. Space Station Energy. I'm going to go Energy to make it through still. Dignitas Bricks. Dig just came off a pretty solid performance up Beyond the Summit, but it is Beyond the Summit. They're playing in the basement. Speeding a lot of feet off that crowd. I'm going to go Dig. I think the Bricks are going to start coming back down to reality at some point. And I think it could start here. Well, I guess it kind of started at Beyond the Summit, but maybe a little bit. So I'm going to go Dig there. A lot of 3-1s. Man, I put 3-1 for a lot of games. I rarely put a sweep. Reciprocity versus Paradox. Here we go. Here's the sweep. TSM versus Rogue. I think TSM is a better team right now. And, of course, we don't know that. I'm just trying to guess, and I think TSM on paper is going to look pretty good. And also, the one time I try and get Rogue, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Rogue's going to do well. They actually kind of did at the World Championship. But usually, every time I say Rogue's going to do well, then they kind of fall out on day 1. So, I don't know. I just can't. I just can't bet with Rogue. Vitality, Barcelona. We got Vitality here. G2 Esports, the Peeps. I think G2 will continue their offensive craziness and their a great midfield defense until they play some of the harder teams. And they should make it through there. Paradox, Rogue. We'll go Rogue here. And Barcelona, the Peeps. I do think Barcelona's going to slowly start turning this around. So we'll advance them. Reciprocity, TSM. Let's go the upset. Let's go TSM here. And we'll go Vitality, G2. Let's go double upset. Let's go G2 there. Which I don't know if that's a crazy upset because Vitality's been a little shaky. But let's get G2 in there. Vitality, Rogue. I think Vitality will still make it. Reciprocity and Barcelona. Yeah, I can't. So my bracket's kind of boring. But, you know. What are you going to do? It's hard. Lately, it's been, like, the top 8's been considerably good. Or, like, the RLCS teams have done pretty well lately at Dreamhack. We've had a couple standouts, obviously. But for the most part, they make it through. All right, day 3. So what does this mean for day 3? Complexity versus Reciprocity. I'm sorry, but it's like you have Shawset versus Flakes, and I'm going to pick Shawset there. Reciprocity, we'll take that one with the upsets, according to seeds. Cloud9 Vitality. This one should be good. I think Cloud9's going to win it because, I like Cloud9. It's like, when we get to lands, if I was a bet man, I would bet on Cloud9 to win every single land. Just because I know they'll make top 4, or at least come close, and then after that, it's like, as long as they make the final, they've won, 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6? So, they usually don't falter until at least day 3. But we'll see. We'll see. TSM NRG. Whew. This one's tough. We got Energy, the most recent champs. TSM coming in with Alpha. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to go NRG here in a 3-2. And we got G2 Dignitas. So this will be classic G2. They win their groups on day 2, and then they fall to Dignitas. So it'll be classic G2, where they falter late. Cloud9, Reciprocity. I'm going to go... Oh, this is tough. The Cloud9 lately, it's like... It's hard to tell exactly where they're at. Again, it's the offseason, right? So it's hard to tell with all these teams. I'm going Cloud9. It's nice that it gets bigger. It's fancy. Cloud9 over Reciprocity. We'll go 4-2. I'm a big Cloud9 fanboy at Lance. It's just the way it is. Energy Dig. Do we get our first NA final? We do. We'll do a 4-3. And this one should be really cool. Turbo versus Von Panda. But we will get our first NA final, which won't even be truly an NA final. It's going to have like a little star next to it because Turbo Pulse is European. Cloud9 versus NRG. Now, here's the thing. Again, Cloud9, when they make grand finals, they win. When NRG makes grand finals, they lose. The only one they won, besides in a tent at X Games, was in a basement at Beyond the Summit. And I don't necessarily count that as breaking the curse just yet. I'm going to go with history here, and I'm going to go a 4-0 for Cloud9. It's going to all fall apart for NRG, and Cloud9 will come back on top and win their second Dreamhack and be ready to go in as the NA number 1. And obviously, I know, like, NRG, they just took down Cloud9 at Beyond the Summit, I believe. Let me check those results real quick. But still, again, that was in a basement. People were having fun. Let's see, Energy. I believe they did, or maybe I'm thinking of something else. No, yeah, they 4-0'd them last time. So this time is going to be the opposite. Cloud9 is going to 4-0 because the difference is it's in a grand final on a stage. So Energy will get to their third grand final in a row, but this time they will lose, and the curse will remain alive. I know technically it's not alive, but I'm bringing it back. Cloud9 takes down NRG in our first NA all grand final. I'm not sure if this is the first time I've predicted an all NA final. I think it is, besides my day 3 predictions when I was at the World Championship, which I don't know if that counts because that wasn't before the event. This might be the first time I did it. I'm not sure. Can't remember. But I like Cloud9. They're a great LAN team. Energy also playing really well. And it's pretty nice when Turbo probably doesn't have to play with 100 ping right now. So that probably helps them for sure. But yeah, I'm going to go Cloud9. Like, I think it's going to be the teams that I'm looking out for the most are, again, those teams like Dignitas, the Bricks, and Complexity, and TSM. Want to see how they fit into this European fold where we basically know, or at least we think we know, that Vitality will turn it around at some point, right? And Reciprocity is playing really well. So you expect those two to probably be front runners to win the European region. But I want to know about those other 4. And then, of course, there's Barcelona still in the mix, which I'm not... I'm downgrading a bit. I'm putting them at 7th. So we'll see how they do. And then on the NA side, we still have to find our 4th team for the Big 3. I get it. It's technically Rogue, but I need Rogue to prove that to me here at Dreamhack. So I want to see them do well. And if not, then you got teams like Space Station and Ghost looking to make some moves as well. So it should be a good tournament. It should be a lot of fun. And Yeah, it's only an hour and a half flight for me, so I am very excited. I'm going to play some Slay the Spire on my Switch. I was playing that all on my cruise that I took with the wifey before, and that game is great. So I'm just going to do more of that before Dreamhack. But that's it for the predictions. No need to watch now because we know what's going to happen, but you still should watch because it's fun to watch games happen, even though you know the results. So definitely check it out. I believe it starts at 12 Eastern. I'm not actually sure what time it starts on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think it's Dreamhack Rocket League is the Twitch. I'm not actually sure. I should probably know this. But I don't have to watch the stream because I'll be there in person. And if you are there, definitely come say hi. I'm usually kind of not around a lot at DreamHacks because it's extremely busy. But if you see me walking around in the crowd, feel free to stop me for pictures or sign-ins or whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that's going to be it. And I will see you guys in Montreal this Friday. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you next time. Say bye to YouTube's Twitch. We're staying around Twitch, so don't worry. Adios.